Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're addressing the oil, sending unit on your Bmw E46. This part is pretty much the same on a bunch of BMWs. They share the same part. This is actually the second time I'm replacing it. This is what we're looking at here. Of course, it's made out of plastic. Go figure, right? So basically, it's pretty simple. I end up getting a generic one. I'm gonna give it a try. The one I put in previously didn't last very long, and that was a part right off the shelf at the parts store. So I'm gonna give this a try and see if it lasts. Of course, in BMW fashion, mine broke. Well, I guess during the car sitting inside the garage. So go figure. It always happens that way. Don't tell me why. My light doesn't really come on the dash right away. It actually waits until the oil heats up, and then it starts to flicker. And when the car's on idle, the light turns on solid, and when I go, then the light goes away, right? So there's something in here in the mechanics of this device that has failed. So there's that case, and there's the case where it's always on. That there's something wrong with the circuitry in here that's totally gone. So what I ended up doing, here's the part here, of course. I already put some silicone grease on here. Unfortunately, this procedure requires you to change the oil. So I always use Castrol Edge. Full synthetic, of course, 5W30. And then I have a whole crate, or a whole box of these filters that here in the garage. I don't think I really need it, but I got them from cheap, so I stocked up. It usually comes with your new gasket, which you're going to grease up when we put everything on, and then usually a washer, a crush washer. This is for your oil drain plug. So first thing we got to do is drain the oil, and then come back up here on top here and unbolt the oil filter housing here and replace that. So we'll do that first. One thing to mention is once you get underneath the car, you're gonna have to take down the aluminum engine shield, as you will. I'll actually show it to you. It's this guy right here. So you're gonna have to take that out. It's held on by 6 bolts. No, actually 8 bolts. I'm sorry. So you're gonna have to take that off. I think they're 16mm. So I spared you the time, and make sure you gotta take that off first to access what we need to. So here's our sensor here. So it's just 2 clips on the side. You press them in and out. Let that dangling, and then there's 3 10mm bolts, and we'll get this out. It says all the oil is drained out first. For now, we're gonna go on top real quick and change out the oil filter. All right, so we're here on top with the oil filter. If you have one of these, I don't know if you do, it's a 36mm socket. I happen to have it from other work, and I've used it, of course, for my BMW oil. So this is what I use to remove it. You can use other devices, like if you don't have something like this, large pliers will take it off as well. But I found this way to be the easiest way to do it. And keep in mind, this is a messy thing, so I suggest keeping rags around. What I typically do is I put rags on the bottom, on the back side, since we have the car kind of tilted that way, just to catch any spillage. I hate getting engine oil on surfaces that get hot and you get all this stink, and especially this car being a convertible. You can only imagine when you're starting to burn oil up front and it's going up into your face. So. So, and keep in mind, this is a messy thing, so I suggest keeping rags around. What I typically do is I put rags on the bottom, on the back side, since we have the car kind of tilted that way, just to catch any spillage. So Okay, so I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab a bag, because what I like to do is just lift everything up and then kind of put it in the bag just to keep it nice and neat. What I'm going to do at this point is just lift it up. Put everything in this bag. Of course, I get another rag here. I'm just going to put this part right here so I can clean this up. And then I'm going to go down, and if you have gloves, I'm not wearing gloves today, but oh well. I'm going to go ahead and grab your filter, lift it up, just place in the bag. We'll put this aside. Okay, so now what I like to do is, there's usually a little bit of oil in there left, which is a pain. There's a couple ways to go at it. You know, you can stuff some rags in there to kind of soak it up. What I like to do is I have a small hand pump that I usually put in there, and you get an old bottle and you just kind of pump it out. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty quick. So now it's all out and clean. Put this out of the way. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and wipe around in here. And one thing to check on your filter housing here is to always make sure that that these gaskets are still in good shape. Make sure they're not cracked. If they are, you need to replace these. But we're in good shape here. My last oil change was not too long ago, and I think I put like 600 miles on the car in the last 2 years. But the next thing is to change out this gasket here with this one here. So on this new gasket here, you can use some old oil and rub all the way around it. I just use some silicone grease is what I do. Either way works. So I put it on there. Slip this back around. Get its groove here. Okay. So now it's time for the filter. Here's the cartridge here. Make sure everything's clean. Right there looks good. And we'll just drop this guy in. Give it a turn in there so it sits tight. Okay. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grease up these two gaskets here at the end. Real quick. Just so there's an easy transition once it goes in. And line everything back up, screw everything back down. That's it. Don't kill it. Remember, it's plastic. Now we're going to go back down and check our oil, make sure it's done, and replace this guy. Alright, so the oil's still dripping here. We'll just let it drip. It's fine. I get the electrical connector out of our way. Okay, that'll work. And of course, we're going to access the 3 10mm bolts. Just going to move this out of the way a little bit. Okay. I'm going to take these guys off. Just remember, when you remove these, you kind of feel for how tight it was. They're not very tight. We don't want to damage anything putting it back on and over tightening. Alright, since we got that thing off, all there's to do is make sure we clean the surface off really well. Make sure it's going to seal once we put the new one on. There's no dirt that's going to compromise it. I think we're in good shape there. Have our new piece. Of course, remember at the beginning of the video I greased this up already. You can use oil too, but I like using the grease. Slide this guy on here, and there's 3 studs, just like that. Alright, so we're going to tie these down. Remember, don't kill them. They're small 10 mils, so they're not going to be able to take too much torque. That's pretty much it. After they plug everything back in. There we go, it snaps in. And then oil's draining, but I think this is pretty much good there. It can drain forever, but make sure on your plug to put in the new washer that you got from the filter kit. They're typically made out of copper, and they crush, and that's what creates your seal. So that's pretty much it. It's fairly simple. I guess the biggest task is actually just removing this plate that protects the oil and the engine here, but that in itself wasn't that difficult. So all we have to do is replace it with your favorite oil or whatever you use. Just make sure it's full synthetic, and we'll be good to go. Like I said before, fill it up with your favorite oil. This car takes about 7 quarts or so. After this is done, of course, check for leaks. Start the engine up, check for leaks. Check your fluid level. Make sure everything's square before you're done. And that pretty much wraps it up. I'll stay here and continue filling this thing with oil. As for you guys, thanks for watching. Hope this helps. If you got any questions, put them below. I answer all of them. So thanks for watching.